Okay, we're holding Mishlei, Perek Yud, the 10th Perek. Ben Mishlei Shlomo ben Chacham Yisamach Av uben Kesil Tugat Imo. The following are Mishalim or Proverbs, parables of Salomon. A wise son makes a father glad, and a foolish son is the grief of his mother. In Perek Yud, and actually in the following chapters, Shlomo Melech goes back to talking about various areas in life, very important advice. We've spoken about the value of the Torah, the Chokhmah in the previous chapters. Now he's going to focus and concentrate on very important areas that are very relevant to us, and that it would be a good idea for us to pay close attention, because life has not changed. En chadash tachat hashamesh, as the pasuk says, there's nothing new under the sun. What was true back then is still true today. Shlomo Melech reveals to us in the first pasuk the importance of children in the parent's life. There's something called nachat. Nachat is something that the parents aspire, the parents look forward to having from their children. Nachat is a word perhaps that we can translate as true happiness and satisfaction. That where we see that our investment paid off, we did the right things, and the children are going in the right way. This is a priority in our life, and it was always a priority to every Jewish mother. As she was lighting the candles for Shabbat, she would cry, she would close her eyes and cry, not so much that her kids should grow up to have a parnasai livelihood or they should be healthy, but more important so that the children should remain Jewish. In Europe, that is what was in everybody's mind, that the children should remain Jewish, God-fearing Jews. So Shlomo Melech tells us that that is the source of greatest happiness to most people, normal people, and that could be the source of grief to the mother, to the father too, if a child does not go in the same derech as the father and the grandfather did. So since this is so important, then obviously we have to be very careful in realizing that this is a very important investment that we're making, much more important than buying a new car. But some people act foolishly. They have to have the latest car, they have to have a Mercedes or a BMW, but they'll send their child to a public school together with Goyim. And later on they complain, why is he bringing home a shiksa? A non-Jewish girl. What did we do wrong? What do you mean what did you do wrong? You loved your car more than your child. In the end you will hate your son. So Shlomo Melech reminds us, this will be the source of greatest happiness, or Halila, the source of greatest grief, if the children do not end up becoming at least close to what we would have wanted them to be. Lo yo'ilu otzrot resha utzedakah tatzil memavet. Treasures of wickedness bring no profit, but righteousness saves one from death, or tzedakah, charity actually. Very, very powerful pasuk. Commentators explain, what does it mean the treasures of the wicked do not help them? One who has made his money in non-kosher ways, even though he has it in the bank, it will not help him. He will not profit from it. Tzedakah is something that you've given away, you don't even have it anymore, and this will bring you profit, and you will gain from. Interesting. Here you have all this money, you have it in your possession, and if it's money not made in kosher way, one will not profit from it. Here's money that you gave away, tzedakah. You don't have it anymore. It's very powerful. One will gain a lot from it, as I will explain soon. I'd like to tell the story, and some of you have heard it, but I'll repeat it for those who haven't. There was once an advisor to the king, a Jewish advisor, who was very close to the king. And since he was so close, the non-Jews were always jealous of the Jewish advisors getting too close to the king. And they wanted to get this advisor fired. And they tried to convince the king that this advisor, this Jew, he's a thief. He's become rich because he robbed you, because he cheated you. The king, of course, loved this advisor, did not believe or accept their lashon hara, until one day he decides, you know what, let me audit him, let me look into what he really has. And he tells his advisor, his good friend, listen, I'll give you 3 days, I want a list of what you have. All the properties, all your assets. Fine, the rabbi said, I'll bring it to you. After 3 days, he comes up with the list. The king takes a look at the list, and he tells the advisor, don't make fun of me. I know you have more than what you've wrote here. You're trying to make fun of me? You're lying to me? My dear king, the advisor says, what I have written down on this list is only the tzedakah, all the money that I've given away. Because that really belongs to me. That nobody can touch. It's in a safe place up there. What you think I have, that you call real estate and properties, I don't even know if I'm going to have that tomorrow. You can take it away from me. It could burn down to the ground. That's not really mine. Even though it's recorded somewhere, so what? What is truly ours is what we have given to tzedakah. We've put away in a safe place. That is truly ours, because that we take with us. Everything else we leave behind. So what is truly ours? That which we have given for tzedakah. Any monies that are made in non-kosher ways, therefore have no berachah, do not help. Whereas money that is made in a righteous way, in a correct way, has the ability to even protect us. What money are we talking about? Money that we give for tzedakah. As the pasuk says here, tzedakah tatzil mimavet. It is able to spare us from death. Lo yo'ilu otzrot resha, the treasures of the wicked will not help him. Another interpretation is that even if this man does tzedakah, because this money was made in a place which is not kosher, or through means that are not kosher, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring him poor people that do not deserve. Aniyim lo hagunim. People that do not deserve the money will come collect your money. In other words, it's not a mitzvah if somebody ends up giving his money to those who really don't need it at all. So therefore we need a zechut that our money should go to the right people. One who is not righteous, who's earned his money in not kosher ways, his money will end up going to people who don't really need it. How does tzedakah spare us from death? Everybody eventually passes away from this world. So what does it mean, tzedakah tatzil mimavet? One idea is mimavet meshuna, as the rabbis tell us, from a very strange and sudden death. One who's always been giving charity, that charity will protect him from unnatural death. Another interpretation is that tzedakah does protect one from death. If one is in danger and he's been doing tzedakah, it may have the power to protect him from imminent danger. According to the Kabbalah, one who's done an act of charity, the impression of that mitzvah is on his forehead for an entire week. So no malach, no mechabel mashchit, no destructive angel can approach him and harm him. So we see from this that tzedakah is a very powerful mitzvah. It is the right thing to do with one's money, especially one who has been blessed with money. Hashem is basically testing him. And the rabbis tell us, we have a tradition, that the rich have a much difficult challenge than the poor. The poor, because they're poor, they're humble. They will not become arrogant. They'll continuously pray to Hashem for better life. One who has made money can easily become arrogant, can easily become not religious, can easily do things that are totally not kosher because he has all this money. He has this false sense of security. I'm always reminded by this story. What does it mean, false sense of security? My grandfather, Alav Shalom, was once in South Africa. He met up with the Rabbi of Ponevezh, who was collecting funds there for his yeshiva. And the Rabbi of Ponevezh tells my grandfather, you know what, I just met a South African Jew. A very wealthy man. And he tells me, Rabbi, I don't understand every day what I say in the Amidah and the Shmoneh. We say there, Mashpil Geim Ad Haaretz. Hashem brings down very quickly those who are arrogant. Very quickly, He can make them lose all their money. And He can lift those who are poor like this in an instant to great heights. Rabbi, you mean to say that God can take away everything I have? I mean, I'm diversified. I have real estate in Manhattan, I have a bank account in Switzerland, and I have a very good business in South Africa. I mean, come on. If something goes wrong with Manhattan, if the Twin Towers come down, right, or whatever, I still have Switzerland, I still have South Africa. If something happens in South Africa, I still have this, I still have that. How could Hashem take everything away from me at once? So the rabbi tells him, listen, Hashem doesn't have to take all your real estate from you at once. He can take you away from your real estate.
Maybe take him slowly.
And you know what? The rabbi tells my grandfather, just after a couple days after that conversation, this man passed away. You see this false sense of security? All this money. So what? He left it all behind. No beracha. Such arrogance. But that's what wealth does to a person. Give him a false sense of security. Next pasuk. Lo yar'iv Adonai nefesh tzadik v'havat resha'im yehedof. Hashem will not suffer, allow the soul of the righteous to suffer, in other words, to come to hunger. V'havat resha'im yehedof, but he thwarts the craving of the wicked. That's the translation over here. Rabbis tell us that from giving tzedakah, one will not become hungry. One does not become poor from giving tzedakah, from helping others. People think, if I give all this money away, I'm going to become poor. You can't give all your money away, obviously, otherwise you're going to become a beggar. But from giving tzedakah, from being nice to people, one does not suffer. One does not become poor from helping others. That is a guarantee over here. Lo yar'iv Hashem nefesh tzadik. Hashem will not make the nefesh of the tzaddik go hunger. But v'habat resha'im yehedof. He will thwart the craving of the wicked. What does that mean? That all the assets that the Rasha may have acquired, not in a kosher way, all his cravings, all of that will fail and will be thwarted. What does that mean? Later on, there is a pasuk, but since I'm going to really talk about it now, I'll mention it too. There's a pasuk about blessing. There's something called the blessing, and there's something called the curse. One, of course, who earns his money in not kosher ways, what we said before, that his money is not blessed. So what is it? And in some ways, it's cursed, in some ways. There's a big difference between something that is blessed and something that is not, even if it's not cursed. Many of you perhaps have heard of the Rothschild family, right? Do you know how they became rich? There's a whole story behind how the first Rothschild became very, very rich. But that's not, an incredible thing in itself. What's incredible about his wealth was that wealth remained in the family, generation after generation. That is how you know that wealth is a blessing. It remains with the family. You know when the wealth is not a blessing? When the lawyers eat it up. When the boys or sisters or boys are fighting about it in court. And who gets to eat it up? The lawyers. The money does not remain in the family. It's all wasted on lawyers' fees and other things. No beracha. I didn't call it a kelala, but at least there's no beracha. It did not stay. So even if the Rasha, during his whole life, was able to hold on to his money, two things are possible. He will never enjoy it. How many bathrooms do you need in your house? One for Shachrit, one for Mincha, one for Arvit. What are you going to do with all the millions of dollars? So a lot of people don't end up enjoying all their money. Number two, even if they did have their money and they didn't lose it, it doesn't stay with their kids. I've heard stories of a child inheriting all this money and wasting it in Las Vegas. Yeah, just wasting. Not necessarily buying himself a house there, but gambling or doing other things. Shtuyot. No beracha in the money, so it does not stay in the family. Very important point is really mentioned over here. Another important point, that which is destined for a person to receive, for him to receive, nobody can take it away from him. Lo yar'iv Hashem nefesh tzadik. Hashem will not make a Jew go hunger, a tzaddik, I should say. And if somebody takes his parnasah away from him because he opens up the exact same business across the street, he should not lose hope. Bitachon b'Hashem means that everybody's parnasah is min hashamayim, and en adam nogea b'ma shemuchan lechavero afilu kemalei nima. Nobody can touch or can hurt you for your parnasah, not even for one cent from what's coming to you. And I'm going to tell you an incredible story. Before I tell you the story, you should know that sometimes people's money is taken away. That's only temporarily. In the end, whatever is due will come back. So if his parnasah was affected, he will make the money some other way. There was once a Bachur Yeshiva in the Yeshiva of the Maharal Prague, who lived in the late 1500s. This Bachur Yeshiva had a very strong weakness. He likes to steal. He had this tava to take other people's possessions. I think he was poor. He was poor, and of course the Yetzer was greater because he was poor. So he made up his mind that he's just going to break into some people's homes to just get his hands on what he wants. But before he decides to break into the first house, he goes to hear the shiur of the Maharal Miprag. And in that particular shiur, the Maharal says as follows: nobody can affect somebody else's parnasah. Whatever is meant for him to earn, whatever is meant for him to receive, that is what he will receive. Nobody can take it away from him. Whoever takes away from somebody what is due to him, eventually Hashem will bring it back to him. A ganav has no emunah, no bitachon, has no faith in Hashem. Had he had faith in Hashem, the same thing that he needs, he would be able to receive in a way that is kasher and mutar, and not through a way which is asur. And finally the Maharal finishes his speech and says, and this ganav, you know what is happening to him? What's encouraging him to steal? The Yetzer is telling you, if you don't steal, you're going to die of hunger. In other words, you have to survive. So here this young man is hearing this derasha, and he says, you know what? It's interesting. I wish it was true. Whatever is really coming to me, I'm going to receive anyway. Why take it in a way which is asur? Whatever I take, eventually Hashem will restore. He hears interesting ideas here. Nevertheless, he couldn't hold himself back. He broke into a widow's house. And he decides that he's going to take whatever jewelry he finds, puts it all together, and then he says, you know what? No, I'm not going to take it. I just can't. I just heard a very nice derasha. I was inspired. I'm going to hold myself back. He goes into the kitchen, and now his Yetzirah is really working, because he sees some delicious cakes and cookies and good food. And then he says, well, the food I got to take. But then again, he holds himself back. He remembers the derasha of the Maharal Miprag in the yeshiva, and he says, it's not mine, and I'm not going to take it. We'll see. Maybe the Maharal is right. Whatever is coming to me, I'm going to receive it anyway, in a kosher way. If this is not mine, then it's not mine. So he held himself back, and he left the house. Didn't touch a thing. The next morning, this lady comes over to the yeshiva. Says, Rabbi, I'm scared. I'm a widow. My husband just passed away. I'm alone in the house, and somebody broke into my house last night. Rabbi, perhaps you can find me a nice young man that I can marry so I cannot be by myself. So the rabbi says, I have the perfect match for you. I have a good young man in this yeshiva. And he brings over that potential thief. And guess what? How do you say in English? They hit it off together? What? They hit it off? Yeah. Okay. It worked. And guess what she served him for the first dinner? Those cakes and cookies that were in the kitchen. Anyway, everything that he was going to take be'isur, he got beheter. And after he saw that the Maharal's words were true, Chazar b'tshuva shlema. He did complete teshuvah. Next pasuk. Rosh oseh chaf remiyah v'yad harutzim ta'ashir. Here he translated, slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. What does that mean? There's a lot of people who are in business who are doing very well when it comes to cheating others. They just know how to cheat. They have a kaf remiyah, a hand that cheats. So he says, this kind of an individual, Rosh Oseh kaf remiyah, in the end, he will become poor. People who cheat others do not succeed for a long time. It's very misleading. They think in the short term that they're able to cheat. They're able to outsmart someone. But in the end, Rosh over here means poverty. That is what will come out from those who use a kaf remiyah to cheat others. But v'yad harutzim ta'ashir, those who are diligent and who earn their money the hard way, as they say in English, ta'ashir, they will prosper. There's some people who work very, very hard. They obviously have good mazal, but they worked very hard, they were diligent, they earned their money the hard way, they will prosper. Next pasuk. Oger b'kayitz ben maskil nirdam b'katzir ben mevish. He who gathers in the summer He's a wise son, but a son who sleeps during the harvest brings shame. Another very important point about savings, a savings account. Oger b'kayitz, when you have some money, a little bit of leftover, a little bit of extra money in the summer. In other words, when everything is bountiful, save. Save for a rainy day. Rabbis very much believe in saving, in not being a spender. Even though it's true you're allowed to have bitachon in Hashem, and not worry too much about the future, and that's the right attitude, but nevertheless you got to do things intelligently. If you can't afford something, don't buy it. No, I'm going to spend all this money, and then I trust Hashem will provide for me. Who says that he, on Rosh Hashanah, said that you can buy yourself a Lexus? So why are you allowing yourself? Well, the problem is, people who live in this country, they are snared, is that the word in English? They are ensnared by all these companies telling you, you owe yourself a vacation. And pay for it with your credit card, of course. What is that teaching people? Even if you don't have the money, you owe it to yourself. Go enjoy. Go on a cruise. Buy yourself the latest cars. And after you bought yourself everything, then comes another advertisement. Consolidate all your debts. Consolidate them all. I don't want them. People call me, we have a great credit card for you. Well, I tell them, well, why do I need a credit card for you? To consolidate your debt. But I have no debts. What? You have no debts? Yeah, Baruch Hashem, I have no debts. That was at the time before I bought my house. Yeah. But anyway, then comes another company. Don't you want cable? But I don't have a TV. You have no TV? People have gotten so used to certain things that you have to have certain things, and because of that they get into debt, they don't save money, and when the time comes to marry off their children, they have to beg people, and when they get the money that they borrow, they never pay them. People sometimes they just don't pay people. They think it's coming to them. They've gotten used to taking money, only taking, and they don't realize that you have to sometimes give back. That's what you took. So all of this teaches very bad habits. Good habits: save money, don't borrow if you don't have to, don't take other people's money. Be happy with what you have. This is what the rabbis teach us. Don't be a spender. And what about this other son? The other son who's lazy, who sleeps during the katsir, during the time of harvest. Everybody is harvesting. There are some people who are asleep. Who is he talking about? This is very typical of the Russian immigrant who arrives in Israel, and they want to offer him a job to help out in the yeshiva, to help out in some kitchen, but I'm an engineer. I don't want to do anything else. But sir, don't you want to bring some bread on your table and feed your kids? No, I'm an engineer. But there may not be jobs for an engineer. No, I'm an engineer. You're going to stay home and be unemployed and not make any money. This brings shame to the family. A woman loses respect for a husband who's lazy, who does not want to work. If you have to go wash dishes in El Coyote over here, but bring food to your house, do anything. And that is what the rabbis teach us in the Gemara. If you have to, Pshot nevelata beshuka v'al tomar gavra rabani, go sell hides, stinky hides, but don't say it's beneath my dignity. What's the comparable profession today of stinking hides? Go work for the garbage department, if you have to, but bring money home. And by the way, they make a good salary. And today it's easy. You don't even have to get off the truck. The truck just picks up the garbage can and throws it into the garbage.
But you have to get up 4 in the morning.
But you have to get up 4 in the morning, yeah. All those who are lazy, who think about their dignity, they show irresponsibility. They show batlanut. Batlanut, I guess some call it just idleness. They don't care. And this kind of a son, this kind of an attitude brings shame to the family. Next pasuk, berachot lerosh tzaddik ufi reshaim yechaseh hamas. Blessings are upon the head of the just, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. What does that mean? We're going to be speaking in these 2 pesukim about the life and death of a tzaddik. The tzaddik meaning a righteous man, a good man. Shlomo Melech tells us, look at this righteous man. While he's alive, people bless him. People look up to him. People have only good things to say about him. But the mouth of Reshaim, what people have to say about Reshaim is terrible things. They wish him the worst. A person thinks he's smart, he cheats, he gets away with it. People know this. And people are always wishing him the worst. That's one of the differences in one's life between a righteous man and a wicked man. What people will say about him. And this goes after life too. After one passes away from the world, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. After he has passed from this world, his good name and reputation remains, and people remember him Livracha. V'shem Reshaim Yirkav. But the name of the wicked will rot. People will forget about it. People will not have anything good to say about it. That's a simple meaning of these Pesukim. Rabbis also tell us another drasha on this Pasuk. Berachot lerosh tzadik ufi reshaim yechasech hamas. That many times when there's no rain, it's because there's a lot of gezel. People are stealing from each other. People are not honest. So there's a drought. There's no rain. And who can pray for the rain? Berachot lerosh tzadik. A tzaddik is given the ability to bless, to pray, and Hashem will listen to him. But fi reshaim yechaseh hamas. But when a rasha prays to Hashem, Hashem doesn't listen. His mouth is being blocked by all the hamas, by all the gezel, the thievery. So his prayers are not effective. Another idea that is mentioned here is that when we learn the Torah of a tzaddik, siftotav dovevot bakevet, that his lips move in the grave. It brings a tremendous merit to learn in a sefer that some tzaddik put together. He gets credit for it even in the afterlife. We spoke about the name and reputation of a tzaddik and a rasha. As you know, many Jews have the tradition of giving a name to their child after a relative, or after a rabbi, or after some individual in the family. You need to really be careful which name you choose. That you don't choose the name of an individual who is not righteous for your son, because it tends to stick. That name tends to stick to the child, and it may affect his destiny. Number two, do not give the name of an individual who passed away young, especially if he was killed in an accident. If you want to give that name, then give two names at least. A name is very powerful. Our tradition says that for the most part the parents are inspired by Hashem as to which name to give. But some people give ridiculous names. And that name may affect the destiny of the individual. So you want to be careful with which names you give. Also mentioned here the idea that a tzaddik has the ability to give a beracha. This is a very important area, the berachot of a tzaddik. Many people think if they come to a tzaddik, they go to big mekubal, they will get a blessing, and that's it. If they're not shomer Shabbat, the blessing won't take effect. It will not do them any good. In order for a blessing to have any hashpa'ah, any influence, a person has to take upon himself something. Let's say somebody is very ill in the family. Very ill, on the verge of death, Chas v'shalom. Rabbis tell us there's some things that you can do even on the verge of death that might protect you. One of them is to make a neder. Usually we don't make the darim. We stay away from making vows or promises. We try to say beli neder, because neder and darim are dangerous. If you don't fulfill them, you don't keep your word. The only time that the rabbis tell us nedarim can be a lifesaver is when somebody's be'et sarah, in a time of need, in a very difficult situation. He's drowning. Make a neder. You come to a tzaddik, take upon yourself something. Okay, Rabbi, you know what? I take upon myself, I'm going to light candles for Shabbat on time. I'm going to go to the mikveh. If it's a man, I'm going to put on tefillin. I'm going to wear tzitzit. Take something. Because once you commit yourself to something, the beracha has on something lahul. It needs a vessel. The beracha needs a vessel. And we make the vessel by committing ourselves, by taking upon ourselves a good maaseh. Something which we did not do until now. So people say, Rabbi, I have an evil eye, ayn hara. Somebody did something to me. Perhaps it's not an evil eye. It could be your bad mazal, or it could be that there's no Shabbat Shabbat is not being observed and respected. If he does not keep Shabbat, all the berachot will not help him. Chacham lev yikach mitzvot vevil sefatayim ilavet. That's the next pasuk. The wise in heart will heed commandments, but a fool will come to ruin. The Gaon of Vilna explains that this pasuk is talking about the right approach that a chacham has when he is faced with an opportunity to do a mitzvah. Chacham lev yikach mitzvot. He does not push it off. As the saying goes, whatever you can do today, don't put off for tomorrow. Chacham lev yikach mitzvot right away. Evil aful sefatayim ilavet. He talks a lot. He talks about it, he promises, and he does not deliver. Action. Chacham takes action. He does not put it off, does not postpone. Chacham lev yikach mitzvot means that he also looks for opportunities to help people to do mitzvot. He does not just wait for opportunity to arise. It came to him, he does it. Imagine somebody who really wants to give tzedakah. Really wants to. You know how he does it? He does not wait for the poor man to knock on his door. He actually goes over to the rabbi or whatever. You know what? I have maaser to give. Can you tell me how to distribute it, where to send it? I'd like to give it now. I don't want to wait. It shows that he really cares. It really shows that he's interested in giving tzedakah. There are some people, as soon as the poor man knocks on the door, they tell the children, tell them I'm not home. Or I'm too busy. There's a big yetzer hara. And you can't blame them. A lot of these people are tired because you get every other half an hour, they're getting more and more people knocking on the doors. So we're not going to blame everybody. It's a real big challenge. But remember, this is tzedakah. And you have to give maaser anyway. You have to give something. If a person has the right attitude, then it won't be hard for him. What I've trained myself to do, and it's all psychology, is when people come to me, they tell me, no, I really feel bad that I'm begging you for money. I used to give people money, but I just lost all my money, and I'm ashamed. Forgive me for bothering you. He says, you're not bothering me. This money has been waiting for you. It's not mine. I have to give it away anyway. So what did I just do? I accomplished two things. It made me give it easily. It's not mine. I have to give it. And I spared him any embarrassment. Listen, don't be embarrassed. It's been waiting for you anyway. I have to give it. And saving a poor man embarrassment is more important than how much money you give him. If you give him $1,000 but you yell at him or you look at him with a sour face, next time just get yourself a job. You would have been better off not giving him a penny. You give him $5 but you give him encouragement. One of these days you'll be able to help out others. Then you've made his day. This guy he left behind a pregnant wife perhaps with 8 kids. And he's away from home for several weeks, barely speaks English, and he's getting embarrassed from people who are slamming doors on his face. You have to put yourself in their shoes to try to a little bit understand what's going on. Oy vavoy, chaz v'shalom, we should never be in that position. But rabbis tell us it's a galgala chozer ba'olam, it's like a wheel. Sometimes we're up there, sometimes we're down there. So when we are up there and comfortable, we should remember to be kind and sensitive to those who are in need. Next pasuk, holech batom yilech betach umeakesh derachav yivade'a. He who walks upright walks surely, but he who perverts his way shall be found out. One who goes batom means he goes bitmimut. He's honest, he's righteous, he does business honestly. Then his business will succeed. He will not fail. Umeakesh derachav yivade'a. But one who perverts his ways, yivade'a means two things. In the end, people will find out about him. You cannot keep the secret too long that you're cheating people. People will discover it one way or another. Another interpretation of Yivadea is that all your plans will be frustrated. They will be ruined. Somewhat of a repetition of what we said before. One who walks upright, who does things properly, he will succeed in this way. He has nothing to fear. A lot of people don't think that this is true. A lot of people really have the wrong ashkafa. They really think that if you are honest in business, you can't make it these days. Have you heard that? If you're honest, you can't make it. It's not true. Holech batom yilech beta. He's the one that goes secured. They won't bother him. Hashem sees it, sees his righteousness, and he will send him all the clients. I think I may have told you the story. There's a guy in Mea Shearim. He sells eyeglasses. He learns the whole day, and he's open from 6 to 9 in the evening, or from 5 to 8. 3 hours a day. That's when everybody comes to buy. Hashem sends him this parnasah. He learns the whole day. He's sincere. He's honest. Hashem sends parnasah in 3 hours. Just ask any jeweler. How long does it take him to make his parnasah for the year? It could take one sale. One 12-carat diamond. It doesn't have to work for the rest of for the year. And that can happen in 5 minutes. A person can make his earnings very quickly, if Hashem wants it so. Mexicans do that all the time. As soon as they've made their money for the day, many of them just close the shop. Life is not about work, they say. There's other things in life. They're very family oriented. That's it. They tell you, come back another time. They don't care if you don't give them the business. They've made their money for the day. They have what to eat. One who walks upright, is righteous, has nothing to fear. But one who has perverted his ways, he has a lot to fear. Koretz ayn yiten atzavet ve'evil sefatayim yilavet. Translation is, he who winks his eye causes trouble, and a fool will come to ruin. A fool using his lips. This pasuk is talking about lashon hara. Lashon hara can happen through one winking his eyes the wrong way, one using his lips, his mouth, to say certain things in the wrong way. In the commentaries explain that we're talking about those who are mesitim u'medihim, those who make fun and incite other Jews when they are performing a mitzvah, to cool them off. So whether you do it with the wink of an eye or whether you say the wrong thing, this could be very hurtful. This can cause a lot of damage. The wink of the eye causes trouble. Just the wink of an eye. We sometimes underestimate the power of the tongue, but this leads to ruin too. We can ruin a person's reputation with the wink of an eye and using our speech in the wrong way. The mouth of the righteous man is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. It's a well of life, meaning that the tzaddik, when he teaches Torah, one who is sick, the rabbis tell us, he can recover by absorbing all the Torah. The Torah is a well of life. But this sick man has to be willing to accept what the rabbi says. A lot of people are sick, they're not willing to take the medication. For this Torah to help, for this good advice to help, the sick man has to be willing to listen, to be mitbatel, to become humble before the tzaddik. But pira sha'im yachaseh hamas, but the mouth of the wicked is covered with violence. They don't listen. Their mouth is covered. They don't want to accept. They don't want to hear anything. Another interpretation of the mouth of the Rasha is covered up. He covers up his deeds by talking nicely, by flattering people, trying to hide his evil plots. But he wants to see, as we said earlier, some point it will all be discovered. And now we've come to one of my favorite pesukim of Mishlei. Sin'ah te'orer medanim ve'al kol pesha'im techaseh ahava. Hatred begets fights. Let me see how he translated it over here. Hatred stirs up quarrels. Okay. But love covers all sins. What does that mean? Various ideas are expressed over here. Very important ideas in life. So pay attention. Sin'ah te'orer medanim, when there is hatred, when people do not like each other, they don't get along, even the small things that happen to them, insignificant, create fights between them. Just anything. You looked at him in the wrong way and he's already upset at you. If there is hatred, if people are not getting along, just any small thing will stir up quarrels. If there is true love, nothing bothers you about the person. You like them the way they are. The love is so strong that it covers up everything else that may be there. You don't even see it. That is one idea. Another idea is testimony. You cannot bring testimony against someone from somebody who hates him. If there is hatred, there will not be any justice here. It will lead to giving false testimony. Because he hates him. He doesn't like him. What do you expect him to say? The same thing if somebody loves you, cares for you, is a good friend. He's going to cover up all the mistakes and he will not see the truth either. Because he loves you, he cares about you. So a judge, a witness, cannot be somebody who's too close to you or your enemy. They're not going to say what's right, what's true. Now we come to another very important revelation. There's a very interesting midrash that doesn't really have an explanation, but we will understand that midrash through this pasuk. The midrash says, Am Israel, the Jewish nation, afilu hem ovdei avodah zarah, even if they worship idols, aval hem hagudah achat, but they're one unit, they're together. Afilu hem ovdei avodah zarah, even if they worship idols, en hakadosh baruch hu keviyachol yachol lingua bahem. Hakadosh baruch hu will not do them anything, any bad, any harm, because they're together. They're worshiping idols. How could that be? What's the secret of this unity? The secret is in this pasuk. Sinat te'orer medanim, as we said. Hatred leads to all sorts of problems. Ba'al kol peshaim techaseh ahava. If there is ahava, if there is achdut is so powerful, unity, that it covers up all the problems. If people really like each other, they don't see any faults in the other. And those faults that they do see, of course, they look for ways to correct them in a nice way. But otherwise, they're not bothered by the faults, because the love is so intense and so real. That is another interpretation. Now I'm going to tell you a story with the Gaon of Vilna that points out something very sad about the Jewish people. And this is the time of the year that we are saddened by the destruction of the temple, the last one because of Sinat Chinam, baseless hatred. Anyway, the story goes as follows. The Gaon of Vilna once sat down to talk to the king. And the king asks the Gaon of Vilna, tell me, don't you Jews have a land of your own? So the Gaon of Vilna says, yes, we did once upon a time have our own land, but we lost it. Why did you lose it? Because of Sinat Chinam. The Jews fought amongst each other. So the king says, but I see all you Jews celebrating together the Simcha with a lot of schnapps on the holidays. You guys are you're very happy together. So the Gaon of Vilna says, yes, but even so, the Satan is still interfering in our affairs and causing a lot of strife, a lot of Sinat Chinam. Okay, that was the end of the conversation. The king did not accept that. He says, it doesn't make sense to me. So he says, I'm going to try it out once. One of these days I'm going to see it. Anyway, he did not exactly plan on it, but one day he went out hunting, and there was a big downpour, and him and his helper got stuck in the forests, and they saw a light in a house. They went over to the house, and sure enough it was a Jew. The Jew helped them out, accommodated them in their house, in his house, gave him food and drink. The next morning the king was very grateful to him, and he asked him, and he didn't tell me he was the king. He tells him, can you do me a favor and take me to the capital city, to the big city? He took him to the big city. As they get closer to the city, the guy stops. And the king asks him, why are you stopping? He says, because I have a wagon with only one horse, and the king said that beyond this point, no wagons with one horse should continue. So the king says, I give you permission anyway, just listen to me. He still does not know that this is the king. As he's getting closer to the castle, he sees, the driver, the Jew, that people are bowing down to this man next to him, and he finally realizes it's the king. So he says to the king, what an honor. The king says, listen, you were very kind to me. I'm willing to give you anything you want. What would you like? Ask. So the Jew says, listen, I have a lumber yard in the forest, but there's another Jew who's competing with me. I want you to remove him. The king says, you silly man. I was willing to give you so much money, and that's all that's in your mind is to remove another Jew who's competing with you? I guess the Gaon of Vilna was right, he says to himself. That the Sinat Chinam, unfortunately, still that's the first thing he has to think of. But that's what's going on in the minds of those who hate, those who have the Sinat Chinam, is how to win, how to defeat someone. Instead of thinking about their own prosperity in a healthy way, no, they have to think on how to bring somebody down. That's Sinat Chinam, unfortunately. But anyway, what do we see from this? It is true, Ahdut, Ahva is very powerful and very, very important. Brotherliness, unity, love is something that we've always emphasized. And in order for that to happen in Am Yisrael, it has to start at home, between family members. If brothers and sisters cannot get along, then how can we expect that these brothers and sisters eventually, when they go out to society, they will be able to get along with others, with strangers? Even though it's true, we will be learning that later on in Mishlei. There are some friends that are closer to you than your own brother or sister. That's true. And we'll talk about that, why that is so. But it doesn't have to be that. Chatam v'kala get married, what do we wish them? Gilar, Rina, Ditza, Bechidva, Shalom Reut. That is the foundation of any home. If the kids see that the parents respect every Jew, whether he's Lubavitch or Satmar or Vichnitz or Sephardi or Bukhari or Yemenite or Gruzini, whatever, if the parents respect all Jews, the kids hopefully respect Jews. But if one of the parents or the two start talking bad about one group of Jews, what's the kid going to learn? He's going to inherit that Sinat Chinam, that baseless hatred for that particular group. So where does it all start? In the schools and in the homes. What example we set on the table? And the example should be of love and unity and respect for each other. That's more important than money, more important than anything else. People emphasize the wrong things in the home, the wrong values. And the kids inherit what they hear and what they see. This is important. It was important for the parents. Money was so important. You got to make money. Money, 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 everything money. So that's what the kids think about. It's only about money. But if the parents emphasize fear of Hashem, Torah classes, beautiful midot, good character, then hopefully that's what the kids will emulate too. So unity needs to begin in the home. If the home is strong, the family is strong, then hopefully the kids and the grandchildren will continue that spirit of unity, and hopefully after some point all of Am Yisrael will become united. But until then, it's a big problem. It depends what we teach in our home. Another idea of Sinat Teorer Medanim is that one has to be very careful on what he says about others. If we speak about others negatively, that Zemeorer Kitrugim Lemala, it awakens an accusation against the individual. This guy did so and so. We don't give him the benefit of the doubt. In other words, we're judging him negatively, but Shamayim, they will do the same. But if we give the man a benefit of the doubt, maybe he didn't know, maybe he was tired, he just unintentional. If we give the benefit of that, if we speak positively, then we are causing that in the Shamayim, they will look down positive at that individual, and at some point when we need to be judged, they will judge us positively too. Okay, and the last point about this pasuk that perhaps we can add is as follows. We said before, Sinat Teorer Medanim, that hatred will beget quarrels. In reality, you can look at it the other way around. Sinat Teorer Medanim, if there are constant medanim in the family or in the house between husband and wife, and these fights, arguments, and differences of opinions are never settled and reconciled, from these medanim will come out sin'ah, hatred. And after 10 years of fighting with each other and not making up, they go to a marriage counselor. The marriage counselor can't help them anymore because they lost their feelings for each other. They've been fighting, arguing about everything and never making up. If you have a fight, you have an argument, that's okay, it can happen. Just make up. Before you go to sleep, say, I'm sorry. Whether you're right or wrong makes no difference. Just say, I'm sorry. Say those words, I'm sorry. You know, it's sometimes for some people it's so difficult to say, I'm sorry. It's just difficult. But you know what? Just those few words can make such a big difference. Sinat Teorer Medanim. Otherwise, you are breeding hatred. Why? Because there's constant medanim. Nobody can help you later. All the good feelings have disappeared. If there are faults, if there are mistakes, and they will be faults and mistakes because nobody's perfect, then instead of pointing them out, you are like that, and why didn't you do it this way? Instead of pointing them out, cover them up. If we cover up the faults and don't point them out and don't criticize so much, then the ultimate result of that will be ahava. Love, you know what they tell you? You don't love right away, love grows. With time, love will grow if you allow it to grow. Some people just don't let it grow. They do so many terrible things. They criticize so often. They yell. They don't cover up. They don't give the benefit of the doubt. Then all the good feelings are lost. And you know what? Your spouse, your partner is not really against you. When they do something, they didn't mean to hurt you. It was done unintentional. So why look down at them? You are there to help them if they are weak. Al kol peshaim techaseh ahava is one of the secrets of success in any relationship between friends or marriage. Look away. Don't point out all the mistakes. Forgive and forget. Let go. You want to have a good life. You have kids together, especially if you do. Let them see that you care about each other, because that is what they will be when they grow up and be husbands and wives too, and fathers. This is so important, and sometimes it's just so terrible that people don't realize that it's how simple it is. Life goes by, years goes by, then it's so difficult to repair. But I want to remind all of you that even though things have gone almost beyond repair, it's still possible to repair. If the two are ready to take upon themselves a true Torah life, when they regret everything that happened in the past, because just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepts our teshuvah, we have to accept the teshuvah of our spouse. We're not better. If Hashem accepts us and allows us to make a U-turn, then even the most difficult marriages, as long as there's some compatibility and some respect left, you can rebuild it up. It's hard, but it's still possible. Divorce should really be the last resort. But you have to start with al kol peshaim techaseh. You have to just look away. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive. B'ezrat Hashem will continue next week.